What's going on from the Superbook.com sports desk? I'm Robert Walsh. It is schedule release day in the NFL, and we're going to learn the entirety of the Titans' 2023 schedule later tonight, and the NFL schedule release show airs at 7 o'clock on NFL Network. But here's what we do know. The Titans are going to face the Baltimore Ravens on Week 6, October 15th, at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London. Also, the NFL season will kick off with the Chiefs hosting the Lions on Thursday Night Football, September 7th. Aaron Rodgers will debut with the Jets on Monday Night Football at home against the Bills on September 11th. And tonight in the NBA, the 76ers try to close out the series against the Celtics at a home game at 6 or home game 6 is at 6:30. The Nuggets will try to do the same over the Suns at 9. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Happy Thursday to you. Schedule release day in the NFL. Robert is just in there giddy, man. He can't wait to find out where his Ravens are going to play and win. And look at him. I'm just kidding. Robert, are you excited about schedule release day?
It doesn't really get me up that much, Mick. I enjoy looking to see when the games are happening and when you get to see certain teams, but it's not like the draft for me, or it's not like playoffs or anything. I would say it's probably the least look forward to object of the offseason for me.
So the NFL, Blaine, as you know, they turn everything into a TV show, and they hype it up for weeks, months even, coming up to that TV show.
This is hilarious. Right?
We ask on the Blaine and Mickey Twitter account, how excited are you for tonight's NFL schedule release? Are you super excited, pretty excited, kind of excited, or you couldn't care less? Super excited is 7%. 7% of people, I can't wait to watch this tonight. 10% pretty excited. 25% kind of excited, and 58% say they couldn't care less.
Yeah, I voted that one too. Because now, you know all the teams are playing, like what order and all that doesn't really matter. My whole thing is, when will they be playing on TV besides the London game, and how many will they get, or will they get any on national TV? So I'm hoping I'm hoping they at least get one national game. I don't know, man. With the odds and everything else going into the season by Vegas on the win-loss record, that kind of does play into expectations when the league is setting up these schedules, and then, superstar quarterbacks typically facing other superstar quarterbacks. So right now I would say we don't even know who's going to be the starting quarterback. And I say that in tongue-in-cheek because Tannehill is actually the starter, but, all of us are sitting here talking about he's going to compete. There is no competition. The competition started when he got drafted second round. So whether he does good or bad, they're going to implement him whenever they think it's the right time for him. And then we could say, oh, Tannehill's our guy. And I saw Diana Rossini once again. At least she can't delete what she says. So she said, Tannehill, this is his team. And it is his team until it's not. So when they decide to make that move, if the Titans are having a slow start or a losing record, let's say start off 2-4, you're putting Levis in there, regardless if he's ready or not. So I love, let's redshirt him. This is not college, so that terminology does not work in the National Football League. If you watch around the league, all these guys are out there unless they're transitioning to a quarterback, which is kind of what the Titans are doing. But to me, the Titans are not in a position, to me, where they're going to be a playoff contending team. And I can say that being that they didn't make it last year, and the only thing is better is the offensive line. We think. So if it was me, I said we were rebuilding and I would have moved on. Here's what happened. Nobody will say this. They tried to trade Tannehill. Nobody gave them what they wanted. So they're still, as I'm saying, I think still trying to figure out how can they get off of him, because you don't let a starting quarterback's contract run out. You don't let a starting running back, superstar running back's contract just run out. Name me a time that that's ever happened to any other team. I'm sure it's happened, but we can count them on one hand. So they did make calls. And they did try to trade him, and they didn't get the value that they thought. So they said, okay, plan B is let's ride this thing out until maybe someone gets desperate enough, injury, training camp, that then maybe we have a better leverage to, let maybe one of these guys go to another team and get some more value and maybe a draft pick. So that's where they're at. And, they had all, just like the draft, they had all these multiple plans when they were picking. So ultimately, I don't know. We're talking about the schedule, and that led me to that because I don't know if they're going to have one game on national TV. I'm a little nervous. Just think last year what they had 3 or 4. Bert, you're supposed to know that stuff. I know you don't, man. You look like you need a ham and egg sandwich.
I'd take just an egg sandwich either way.
Oh man. So yeah, what they have? I don't know how many they had last year. Probably 3, but yeah, that's the only thing I'm really care about the schedule. Who and I mean, we know who they're playing, what order and everything else, and when the bye is. Yeah, I'm more like, dang, let's see how close can I predict, and not going game by game, but like their actual record. Like, ooh, what do I think they'll be? I mean, the NFL. Vegas is saying what they're going to win 6 games or something.
The Mike Clay prediction later said a little over 6 games. Vegas on their first release said 7.5. That's what Vegas said, which was second in the AFC South.
So there's not a lot of faith in it. They've been off on the Titans at least 2 years ago or 3 years ago, but so this is they're not gonna be too far. If they say 7, best case scenario, the Titans are gonna win 9, I would bet. And so I'm probably not even looking at the schedule, but they're not playing a first, type schedule, but it's still the schedule is gonna be tough. When you talking about they playing the AFC South outside of the division, so NFC South. So that's I think that's favorable. But then you see the Chargers and other teams. I'm going, man, that's a coin toss game. I don't know.
Bengals.
Yeah, Bengals. I don't know. That's a tough one. You got Burrow. It's always, uh-oh.
They got the Browns this year.
Yeah.
Who Deshaun
game.
Watson is and what he plays like is fascinating to me. Because this dude was one of the best in the league. Then he disappeared for a year, and then he came back.
Well, it's hard to play, as I said before, like coming in at the end of the last quarter of the season and think you're going to be up to speed. And just imagine now he didn't play the whole entire year before that. So he was out a year and a half.
Yeah.
That's pretty tough. I'm going to just use this as an example. We saw Michael Jordan leave the NBA and go play baseball for, I don't know what, a year and a half or so. And he was still good, but he wasn't the MJ of air that we had seen before. And there was no question. He was not the same player. He was not a high flyer. He was just a regular flyer like all the rest of the NBA players. So that's tough. Timing and it's a lot goes into it. So we'll see if he'll be sharper and from day one. When they start the season. So, that's still a coin toss type game to me. I thought Cleveland's, they're competitive. So right now the Titans can't look past anybody and think they're just going to win any game. At this point, even the Texans or whoever has a new quarterback. Anyway, we got a great defense. Oh, until we see it, do we? Every year is a new year. I say this every time.
What were they against the pass last year?
32.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, see? Pass. This is a pass happy league, except if you play Robert's Ravens and they're running. What were they ranked on in offense, even though Lamar missed a lot of games?
That's a good question. I can bring that up really quick.
Run pass ranking. They still were pretty decent.
I know their passing went way down when Lamar came out. They didn't really feel comfortable. They had to go to their third quarterback a couple times in Anthony Brown.
Right.
They ranked in yards per game. They were 16th, and in rush they were 3rd.
In passing.
In passing, they were 30th.
Yeah. Okay.
That's Titan territory.
Yeah. So this is going to be an interesting game. Lamar's going to be all happy, though. They got two new receivers.
They did what everybody wanted this to happen around here.
Yeah,
now they gamble
they
on
addressed
OBJ, but at least they're taking a shot at it.
Yep, they're taking a shot.
And then they drafted
Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers.
And then they got a couple first-rounder guys who were injured last year, right? Or at least one of them.
Rashad Bateman.
Yep.
He looked really good early on. And Devin Duvernay, who got hurt later in the season. But
Texas
they also
who I liked in the draft because he's faster than a hiccup.
Super fast kid out of Texas. They also added Nelson Aguilar. So, like, they're kind of even that guy.
I like him.
Who's kind of just a really good three. Like, he's a three.
He's one of those guys like I thought the Titans should sign. Like, to be opposite of Burks. A guy who's been in this league, he's not a superstar, just a solid NFL. And maybe that's what they think Chris Moore is. But he didn't have the resume as Nelson Aguilar, people like that. He only had 1 year out of his 7 years that he really was contributing in the league. Not to say he can't do more. Hopefully he will turn into that. I think the Titans believe he will.
The one thing that's on the Titans fan now, and I'll let you know ahead of time, the Ravens, they've played in London one time, and when they did, the Jaguars put 44 points on them. They sent them home very upset. So I think the Titans fans should look at that. I know it is a home game for them, but I think it should be looked at as a home game plus because the Ravens have not played well in London. They do not play well. And supposedly they're not going to have a bye after London as well. So they're going to be tired, beat up. I think the Titans would have a pretty good shot.
Well, you never know what to expect. I have no idea. I'm thinking about going. I really am. I am seriously contemplating. I think this weekend will be my deciding time frame if I'm going to start looking into. If I start looking into tickets and everything else, I may want to be down there, man. So I may be reporting from, was it Tottenham?
Yeah. The Tottenham Hotspurs.
Yeah. Yeah, the Ravens. Yeah, especially it's a team that I despise. Yeah, I think that'd be cool, man. So, Mickey, start saving your ducks. Get ready to rock and roll. The Blaine and Mickey show will hit flight to Tottenham.
Pre-game show.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Over there.
I forgot we're on there.
It'll be the last time we did it, we were sitting here, and you said, I wonder what time we started. I said, I can tell you it's in my notes. I went back and looked.
What, we were 6:30?
I think it was earlier than that.
Huh?
So I think I was like, here we are at 6:15 on a Sunday morning to
And
bring
only
you
Robert listening to us.
pregame show. Yeah, it'd be fun to go over there. I got some contacts over there. I got people.
What?
Yeah.
Then you have to go.
I got people. So
they could take us on a tour. Tell us all the hot spots to
100%.
go to, and not the spots not to go to.
my guy over there is like the headmaster of a school that looks like Harry Potter. I got it. I got us. We just have to get there. Yeah, we got to do a bake sale or something. We're going to do a car wash and a bake sale. We make enough, we'll take Robert.
Sell some cookies or something, man.
Whatever it takes,
hey, man. I'll bake some chocolate chip cookies for us, man.
I guarantee the Hitman's chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, it's on point, man.
Okay.
I love that.
We'll be on the lookout for those.
Also, some cinnamon rolls straight from Pillsbury Doughboy.
All right, be on the lookout for our bake sale and car wash to get us to London for the game to do the pregame show.
Yeah, man.
All right.
We gotta get over there, man.
Our NFL guy, JordanDajani, normally joins us on Wednesday, but this week he said, how about Thursday? And we said, you got it. So let's talk about NFL scheduling and a whole bunch more stuff with our buddy JordanDajani of CBS Sports covering the NFL next.
If you're a fan of the Tennessee Titans, the Install Live Show with Greg Cosell of NFL Films coming up Saturday, May the 20th at the Hutton Hotel. Get your tickets right now at 1045thezone.com to hear the best breakdown of Will Levis.
Really, really excited and thankful for the opportunity.
And the rest of the Titans draft class.
Blaine and Mickey, 1045 The Zone. Bert with the meatloaf. That's nice. I had some meatloaf the other day. It was delicious. I'd forgotten how good meatloaf was. I never forget how good meatloaf the artist is, but meatloaf the food.
Man, I hadn't had any meatloaf in a minute.
I'm telling you, man.
My wife used to make some great meatloaf.
I went somewhere and they had it, and I had it. JordanDajani joins us now from CBS Sports on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Jordan, you had any meatloaf lately?
What's going on, my friends? No, sir, I have not had any meatloaf.
You're not a meatloafer.
That's kind of interesting you bring that up. I do like meatloaf. My mom definitely used to make that when I was a kid. Haven't had that as of late, though.
Man. Well, we're going to have to
kind
change.
Of a lost art, man. A lot of people, you got to take some time to make some meatloaf.
Yeah, I know. Everybody out there, make some meatloaf. Tweet us a picture at Blaine and Mickey. We want to see it. See your meatloaf. JordanDajani. So you're excited about meatloaf, and so am I. Let me ask you, any of these NFL games that are being leaked out or that you think, any of this really have your attention?
Yeah, I got to be honest with you guys. I'm not going to lie to you because we're friends and friends don't lie to other friends. But the NFL schedule release is not something that gets me too excited. It's actually a pretty tough day at work. But CBS Sports, I'll plug it right now. We're going to have some of the best coverage when it comes to this event tonight. We're going to be breaking down, ranking all the primetime games, Thursday, Sunday, Monday, the Christmas games, everything like that. We're attacking it from every angle. But, in terms of some of the games that have been leaked, if you will, we can talk about the Titans going over to London to play the Baltimore Ravens. I think the season opener with the Chiefs was leaked today, right? I think they're playing the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
The Lions, baby. Get used to it.
Hey, the Lions going to make the playoffs, man.
Yeah, how about that? This Lions team had 0 primetime games last year, and they had such a fantastic season that they are kicking off the regular year. So that's a story in itself. So it's interesting seeing some of these matchups. The Black Friday game is new. We have a Christmas triple header. So, it's an exciting time overall. But I'm just ready for the whole thing to become official instead of looking over these leaks over on Twitter.com.
Do you think that we're headed – because Blaine and me have been talking about this since COVID, where they're like, well, the team couldn't play, but they can play Tuesday. Okay. Well, this team – well, they can play this day. And remember, we all watched whenever they put the games. Do you think this Black Friday thing was the thing that sort of tipped me off on this? Do you think the NFL is going to slowly start putting more games on different days just because it can?
Yes, I absolutely do. I feel like any, league that's on top of the sports world wants to dominate in more ways than one. And one of those ways would be basically to have a game on almost every single day of the week. Now, the problem is that's probably not going to come to fruition because you have to take into consideration the players and the teams, their travel schedules, and also teams playing on short weeks. So it gets kind of convoluted when it comes to putting all these puzzle pieces together to create a clear picture. But the NFL's, clearly exploring all their options when it comes to taking advantage of holidays, times when people are going to be watching their TV sets. That's something that they're going to continue to look at. So, yes, we're going to see some more interesting flexing, in my opinion. And while, we only have the Black Friday game this year, maybe next year something changes. And I say that because now teams can have different flexes, right? We can flex Monday games starting in week 12, I think. We can give multiple teams now multiple Thursday night games, which is very new, and players are not fans of that. So, yeah, when it comes to the flexibility of the schedule itself, expect the NFL to be creative moving forward.
Always flexing. JordanDajani, CBS Sports, joins us now.
Well, speaking of flexing, the Jags have 2 overseas games, man. They need to get citizenship. There were always rumors that they were going to move their organization. I don't know if that's still in the works or not, but that's kind of interesting. They're using them with Trevor Lawrence as getting to go over there twice. Do you see this being a thing and that's still a possibility that the Jags get over there, or the NFL just preparing to have a division over there, and that way they have 4 teams at some point when they start expanding them, getting their own teams there? This is what I see, is that then they'll be able to play one another and then come over here for 2 or 3 weeks and play other teams. Is that where we're going down this road? Let's envision 5 years from now, 10 years from now.
That would be absolutely wild. Can you imagine if just the AFC South becomes the London South or something like that, and all the teams
or you create new teams that are, maybe some move there, but new teams.
Right,
expansion
right. That's a good
of
point.
the NFL.
You know, something that I've been thinking about is, remember we used to have the old NFL Europe, right? The
Yes.
Frankfurt Galaxy, the Berlin Thunder, all those teams.
Yeah.
Well, I always thought, why doesn't the league put like 4 teams over there? And instead of these spring leagues like the XFL and USFL, how about the NFL ties itself to one of these leagues overseas? And it can be kind of the NFL Europe, but they're directly tied to it. And it could almost be like a minor league, if you will, for the NFL itself. That's something I'm looking at. But when it comes to the Jaguars, it's interesting because my question is, why is this happening now, right? The Jaguars just won the AFC South. They seem like they're a team on the rise. They hit on their head coach. They hit on their franchise quarterback. It's pretty interesting that they're playing back-to-back weeks in London, I believe, and I think they're going to stay overseas, which is interesting. But here's something that really caught my eye, and I think it happened today. The Jacksonville mayor, Lenny Curry, said during an appearance on the radio that renovations to TIAA Bank Field could force the Jaguars to play their games elsewhere for 2 whole seasons. Now, the mayor, of course, is going to try to keep them in Jacksonville, but you know, I think that maybe overseas could be an option. I think that's an aggressive option. I would imagine that they play somewhere else, maybe in the state of Florida. But this kind of opens the door, and it's going to be a discussion that continues to be talked about because, again, as you mentioned, the Jaguars are going to become the first team to play back-to-back games in Europe. So that's something to keep an eye on.
Man, so what is the closest stadium? Just trying to think about the Titans and they're building their new stadium and everything else. If they had to go to another place like we did initially when we got here, what would be some of those other options, do you think, if you had to make a guess this early?
I feel like Orlando has some kind of football field, right? I don't know if I'm completely making that up.
No,
it's in Florida.
That Orlando
Yes.
has the stadium where UCF plays, but then they also have
Disney, right? No.
Disney has other fields, but I don't think football. But they also have a whole other, like almost a municipal stadium where they have a bowl game.
Yeah, exactly.
So they have 2 stadiums.
Oh.
They're going to
Yeah,
Orlando.
exactly. So-
It's going to be
Yeah.
half London and half Orlando. We're calling that now. I'm calling my shot.
There we go. The mixer on the bold prediction. Drop the mic.
Or London. Yes, will be where they go. Or London.
Yeah, so there'll be options definitely in Florida, and I feel like those are probably more likely if the Jaguars indeed have to play 2 years away from their home stadium. But, I mean, that London thing is going to be an option. So, again, we're going to continue to talk about that as we inch closer to maybe the Jaguars playing away from their home stadium for a couple seasons.
All right, well, since we're making bold predictions here, you and Mickey, man, who's going to have the most primetime games?
Oh, that's a great one. I mean, I think that the max amount of primetime games an NFL team can have is 6 now, I believe. I think it was 5 last year. But I think that we could see a couple teams tie for having the max. And one team I'm keeping an eye on has to be the New York Jets. And, of course, they made the addition of Aaron Rodgers. But it's more than that. You know, as I mentioned with you guys, this is a team that's been on the come-up. They have plenty of young talent across the board on both sides of the ball. A rejuvenated fan base, right, in a very big-time market. The Jets are probably going to be a team, in my eye, that the NFL looks to capitalize on this excitement, whether it goes right or wrong. Or successfully or unsuccessfully, the Jets are going to be one of the biggest storylines of this season, in my opinion. You're going to notice that on the schedule. So that's kind of one of my bold predictions. And then the Kansas City Chiefs, in my mind, will again be probably tied in having the max primetime games as well.
AFC teams, man. Speaking of the Jets, Robert Saleh, I think he's 11-23 in his second season now, going on to his third. Man, I feel like the expectations now with Rodgers is probably, AFC Championship, maybe even Super Bowl or bust.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think he's 11-23. They went 7-10 last year, which was kind of impressive considering the lackluster quarterback play they had for the entire season. They statistically had a top 5 defense. But no, you're totally right. Their expectation is Super Bowl. And it's kind of hard to speculate on what a successful season would look like. If I'm just trying to be objective, I think it's making the playoffs. I think it's winning a playoff game. That would be successful in itself. But the Jets expect to be contenders. You don't go out there and make the addition of Aaron Rodgers, with keeping in mind that you're a rebuilding team. No, you're a contender status now. You're trying to win it all. This is an older quarterback who has his sights set on the same thing. And as I mentioned, this is a team that's really been on the come up for a couple seasons now. So it seems like they're almost ready to hit their stride. They were just kind of missing that missing piece, if you will, and they hope that Aaron Rodgers is that guy. But to add on to that, like I said, the market that they reside in New York, I mean, they're always going to have elevated expectations. So the Jets are definitely going to be a team to watch when it comes to what their ceiling could be in 2023.
A lot of people are saying that they're going to Orlando is not going to be this like Gainesville will be for the Jaguars. I'm not sure. I just wanted to get that out there. We're on with JordanDajani, NFL writer for CBS Sports.
JD, did you know that like when you retire from the NFL, that nobody can call you forever except your original team, like this Andrew Luck deal? His contract told. So today, if you want Andrew Luck all these years later, you got to go through the Colts to get him. Did you know this?
I did not know that. I did know that contracts toll once you retire, but I always thought there was some kind of limit. I didn't know that a team could hold your rights for several seasons, and I guess they have to release those rights at some point. And if we're talking about Andrew Luck, for example, when would Jim Irsay even release those rights, right? He's not exactly a spring chicken. He's an older quarterback now. But, I mean, as we found out over the past couple of weeks, right, there may have been some alleged interest in the former number 1 overall pick. So I'm sure that Irsay is going to be holding those rights close to the vest.
Diana Rossini, who we all saw land here during the draft, and then we all saw how the draft turned out. She's talking about the Titans again. She says Ryan Tannehill, she said this on NFL Live yesterday, he's the week 1 starter for the Titans. So there you go. They have sent that out to Diana Rossini, and she has sent that out to the public. So let me ask you this. If he's the quarterback and he's healthy, and Derrick Henry is the running back and he's Derrick Henry, and let's say the offensive line is better, and let's say for a third straight year they don't lead the league in injured players, how good can this team actually be?
This team could win the division. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I got my Vegas sportsbook pulled up right now. They're sitting at plus 350 to win the AFC South. I think that's a great flyer. I think the Jaguars deserve to be the favorites in the division this season. But, I mean, we saw what happened last time. They had a great postseason run, right? They were a flash in the pan once they made that AFC championship run. So who knows what the future holds for Jacksonville. Being consistent is going to be important. But, man, I look at this Titans team, and I don't understand why there's this narrative around this franchise saying that they are doomed to be in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. I mean, we saw how tough this team plays when they're fully healthy, right? And, I mean, they were sitting probably at 7-3 before they embarked on that wild losing streak that was facilitated mostly due to injuries. I feel comfortable with Ryan Tannehill under center if he can remain upright due to the upgraded offensive line. I feel confident in my head coach, Mike Vrabel, who I believe is one of the best in the entire NFL. The defense healthy should be improved as well. This Titans team can be what this Titans team has been over the past few years, where they are very much live to win on any given Sunday. So I'm going to be interested to see what this team is capable of. But as you mentioned, man, remaining healthy has to be the prime objective for this franchise.
Sure does. They have not been able to do that for 2 years. JordanDajani, always healthy and healthy enough to join us again this week talking the NFL.
Well, Jordan, I don't know if we've ever asked you this since we were talking about the Titans and the team and the record, but what do you think the plan should be for the Tennessee Titans now that they're in the situation they're in with the quarterback? What would you do at this point in time if you're the Tennessee Titans?
Well, it's tough to say because, your chickens are kind of lining up in a row at this point, right? Mm-hmm. Free agency's behind us. We already made the offensive coordinator hire. The draft is behind us. You're kind of working with what you got now. And, we've even talked about some of the weak links on the roster, the wide receiver position in particular. There's not exactly amazing the options out there to go out there and chase, whether it's free agency or trade. So there's nothing really I can do when it comes to constructing a new game plan for how this team is going to operate. But this is something that Rand Carthon and Mike Vrabel have certainly been doing over the past few months. Now, my prime concern has to be the offensive side of the ball. And, we've talked about the promotion of Kelly to offensive coordinator. We've seen the quotes come out from Ryan Tannehill and Chico Conquo talking about how the offense is going to look differently. Those comments give me reason to be cautiously optimistic that the passing attack won't be the worst in the entire National Football League, but still, that's something I need to see. I think how the Titans evolved offensively in 2023 is one of the biggest bullet points that I'm paying attention to with this team. That's really going to determine their ceiling in my mind, apart from the team remaining healthy, of course.
So I made this quote, I guess maybe a couple times, but Have you ever seen where elite players on NFL teams, organizations let their contracts just run out and then they get to be free as a bird and just get to walk?
No, I don't think I've seen any kind of study on that, and I would guess that it probably determines on the player's age as well.
Uh-huh.
You know, looking at the Titans specifically, they've definitely let many of their first-round picks walk in free agency. But, I mean, how many of those guys, you know, were resetting the market? Like Corey Davis was a guy I wanted to really retain, but he was able to
No, I'm
find
talking about
more money
superstar
elsewhere.
type players. So whether
Okay.
quarterback, I'm referencing Tannehill and King.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Well, are you talking about other teams letting their superstars walk out once their contracts expire?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like you don't see it a lot because those are superstars, and those teams want to make a statement when it comes to rewarding them financially, as well as sending a message to the rest of the franchise that if you do your job, we are going to keep you in the fold. So, you know, something must have to go awry if we're going to see a superstar walk. And just like Tyreek Hill, for example, and that was really comes down to a contract and, you know, the unforeseen rise of the wide receiver market in general that we all experienced last year. But, yeah, I don't think we see it very often.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I say this is because you just made me even think further down the line that this could happen. This scenario. Tune in. Tannehill and the King and the new offensive line and the, let's say, revamped passing game takes them to the second round of the playoffs. You're still letting Tannehill and the King walk. So when you start looking at it from that perspective and you get nothing for them, then why not turn the page now?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's interesting because, you know, when we talk about the window of competing, well, this may be one of the last years it's open in that sense with those guys in the fold, Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry. But to answer your question, here's the thing. I believe that Ray Carthon came into the building and started asking around, talking to teams about what potential trade value could come from parting ways with Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry. But here's the thing. These guys aren't Tyreek Hill, right? They're kind of aging stars, and especially when it comes to, you know, Derrick Henry, who's been a stud, but still plays the position of running back, and his value is going to be very different from a wide receiver. So I do think that the Titans probably explored what they could potentially get on the open market for these guys, but what they got in back, what they got in return, and the offers that they fielded were not up to their liking, and that's exactly why they're marching into 2023 with the same quarterback and the same running back.
Yeah, plan B. JordanDajani, NFL writer for CBS Sports.
Hey, JD, I just had one more for you. Does the NFL need a draft lottery like the other sports?
Ooh,
I said that the other day.
I think that was my first thought when the Dolphins got under investigation. What was it, last year, I guess, when the owner came up to Brian Flores and says, "Go, we need to tank right now to get our new quarterback of the future." That was my first thought, is we need to employ some kind of lottery system. But here's the thing, too. I mean, I've been on the wrong end of it. Like, I'm from North Carolina, so I used to really love the Charlotte Hornets. And even though we're the worst team in the league, Anthony Davis gets to go to the New Orleans Pelicans, and we miss out on that despite being the worst team in the league. So it's an interesting debate, and I guarantee you it's something that maybe the NFL is going to kick the tires on behind closed doors. But there's pros and cons with draft lottery just in general.
Yeah, well, I mean, no league is more about parity than the NFL, though. I just wonder if it'll happen. JordanDajani, our guest from CBS Sports. JD, thank you, man. Great stuff as always. We'll be talking about games that are scheduled next week, you know, after this blockbuster show tonight.
Absolutely. Can't wait, guys. Thanks so much.
Yes, sir. Follow him at JordanDajani on Twitter. Of course, CBS Sports. He and all his counterparts doing a fantastic job covering the league there. When we come back, one team schedule, the whole schedule has leaked. And this team, who you will not guess in a million years if you haven't seen it,
The Chiefs,
has 6 games in prime time or special times. You'll never guess who it is. That's next. You'll never guess.
6 games?
6 already.
Did you know Eurofix has a very different business philosophy? They staff all their locations with more staff than the average auto repair shop, just so they can be ready for when your emergency pops up out of nowhere. Have you ever noticed how hard it is to get in a right now appointment for your vehicle repair? Well, some dealers will say it'll be 2 weeks until you can get an appointment, but not Eurofix. Eurofix has been offering quality repairs that beat the dealer without the dealer pricing since 1999. Plus a 3-year nationwide warranty and the staff to fix your car right away. So if you're tired of waiting forever to get your car into the shop, then call yours truly, Eurofix. Owner Aaron Stokes says, we will never be too busy for our customers. We're here to take their pain away, and that is always immediate and right now. And Eurofix repairs all European cars. So Eurofix says yes to speedy repair when others can't or won't. And that's because they're family owned for 24 years. You are part of the family. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 844-EUROFIX. That's right, 844-EUROFIX, or you can just visit them online at myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com. But always tell them Blaine said you.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Blaine, you like cheese? You a cheese guy?
Yeah, on my burgers.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that what you're talking about? Like, just eating a slice of cheese?
Yeah, any cheese.
Oh, yeah, I like any cheese, yeah. But eating a slice of cheese by itself, every now and then, twice a year or so.
You like the Packers cheesehead hats?
Oh, I like how their fan base rallies around that, yeah.
They're going to have to rally around 6 primetime games this
so
year.
that's the team.
The Green Bay Packers the Green Bay Packers whole schedule leaked from their athletic reporter, which the team's ready
Athletic
strangling.
reporter.
Yep.
They have that in pros?
Well, from the athletic.
From the athletic.
He's getting credit for leaking their schedule, which they want to kill him because they like to make their own announcements and their own videos.
I think they have 6 games? Because they just wanted to show love to the Packers. But that was cordial.
That is my job to make the dad jokes. What are you doing?
Job. He haven't even done anything. He gets 6 games. Come on, man. And got an extension and didn't even play hardly a down.
Which is one of the...
Dang, why couldn't I be 6'4", man?
One of the greatest financial things we've ever seen in the NFL was his extension where they both hedged their bets against each other.
Dang, they can fall flat on their face. And then we'll be talking about, hire LaFleur as our OC. well, depending on what Kelly does. I think Kelly's going to do decent.
September 28th against the Lions. That's Thursday night. Then they have October 9th. Their next game is Monday night at the Raiders. Then you got to go a little bit. Then they play at Detroit again on Thanksgiving, which counts as a primetime game. Then they have the next week, Sunday Night Football versus the Chiefs. Then they have the next week at New York Giants on Monday Night Football. And then they finish up with Sunday Night Football on New Year's Eve at the Vikings.
I have my hand up. Teacher. You guys, you can chime in, Robert. Why do they have so many games? Watch this. Aaron Rodgers is no longer on the team, and Love is not even proven yet.
The only reason I could think maybe is because they're an existing brand, kind of like the Cowboys.
Oh, no, I know the only thing you could say is because of their brand.
That's
For
it.
sure.
That's it.
That's all you got.
And really, the only game that you listed out of all of those that I would go out of my and I'll watch any football game of its own. But I would go out of my way if I had things to do and I was like, nope, I need to watch this. Would be Rodgers coming or playing Green Bay again.
Yeah.
Was that a Monday night or a Sunday night?
That
Jets, Green Bay.
Everything else on that list was okay.
Yeah.
I get it. It's like a Thursday night game against the Lions. Like who?
Oh no, he's saying if they did, they don't. They don't play the Jets.
Oh.
Oh.
These are just they play the Lions twice. Once at Thanksgiving and then also on Thursday Night Football.
I can't believe it.
Monday Night Football Raiders, Sunday Night Football Chiefs, Monday Night Football Giants.
Giants.
Sunday Night Football Vikings.
That's right.
So I don't
week
even care about
17.
any of these games now. If you don't even get to play Rodgers in it.
And so you think okay, if they had another superstar, that one of the reasons their quarterback left is because they had no other superstar players. So it's not like there's anybody else on the Packers. You're like, I can't wait to watch this person.
I don't know, Devontae Adams, the running back's solid, but they're still going to throw Love's face up there on that screen. I guarantee you that.
6 times.
And I'm up here thinking, hopefully the Titans will have one. That should be the question. How many nationally televised games will the Titans have? Did you already tweet that out? Man. Of all the games, which one you think, besides the London game, the Ravens, what game would you like to see national that you think is worthy of, based off the teams that they play?
The Bengals.
Because you could, they can go back 2 years to talk about how they beat us in the playoffs.
Because that broke this team. It broke J-Rob. It broke everybody. It broke the city. The city's broken.
It didn't just break him. He cried. He cried.
It broke everything. So if I'm the NFL, I'll play the game that broke them. That's what I would do.
Yeah. It made me have to make a decision what I want to put on my meatloaf, ketchup or gravy.
What are you, a ketchup guy or a gravy guy?
Watch this. Ketchup and hot sauce.
Oh, you like hot sauce.
Yeah,
Like heavy hot sauce on the top of the meatloaf?
I could go without the ketchup. Maybe if I
Straight
wanna,
hot sauce?
Yeah, if I want to
Meat,
just put
loaf, and hot sauce.
yeah, or some form of like a barbecue mixed ketchup hot sauce. That's what I like on there. I like spice. Mm-hmm. Then I like going to the bathroom.
Do you put peppers and onions in it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, heck no. You know me. We're friends. You know what that would do to your friend, right? You invite me over. I made you a big old meatloaf, man. I put it full of peppers and onions. I'd be like, okay. Then you would watch me. I would be like, you know those people who find like the artifacts in the dirt and they go dig in the desert and stuff?
Yeah.
That would be me digging those things out of there, dude. I would be, what are you, archaeologists? I would be an archaeologist to get those. I would extricate the peppers and the onions. If not, I would never make it out of your house without violating a room with a toilet in it.
Yeah, I had to do that one time. Wasn't meatloaf though, but man, felt real bad about it. But I had no other choice.
Okay, here's next level. Ball out too tough. Who's checking in via the Zone TV chat through one of the channels says A1 sauce and hot sauce is the best.
Ooh, I like
interesting.
that.
I like A1 sauce.
Me too. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like that on a baked potato.
Yeah. Like I had to break myself. Even when I'm eating a steak, I still wanted A1 sauce.
I know.
People like, what are you doing?
Hey, man,
I was like, I'm just gonna put it on the side. I'm just gonna.
This
dip
isn't Ponderosa. You and me going to Ponderosa in the 80s.
I'm just gonna dip one just to make sure that the steak is exactly the way I want it. They were like, this guy has no idea how to eat a real nice steak.
This isn't us getting taken to Bonanza or Ponderosa in the 80s for our one nice meal a month.
Sometimes it's hard to break some of those child habits that you Well, what about you, Robert? Do you put, what do you put on your steak or anything? No,
Nothing.
you were a kid to the day.
No, when I was a kid, I used to ask my dad for ketchup for what's not. And I remember one time we had steak, and I asked for ketchup, and he took my steak and he threw it in the backyard, and he went out and picked it up and put it back on my plate. He said, "Now it tastes good enough. You could put ketchup on it."
Wow, your dad was hardcore.
Yeah, he didn't play that. He made me eat that steak too. I remember it.
My dad just burned everything. I never had anything. If he was the guy who cooked out, you needed dental records to identify the animal. He charred it.
That's my
charred
mom, man.
everything. It was black on the outside, like steak.
Might have been black on the inside.
It was gray on the inside, like dark gray. That's the way he did it. He burned everything.
But I feel like like my mom was just, hey, just clean your plate. So you guys had it way rougher than me.
Blackened everything, like chicken, steak, anything he made. It was like the scene where they're eating a turkey on Christmas vacation.
Every now and then it became that, but hey, it's still going down the same way, whether I had to chew it a lot or not.
Boy,
it's a steak, man.
Oh, I know. Same way. All right, hour number 2 of the show coming up. Willie Fritz, who's the coach at Tulane, is going to join us in about 20 minutes. Pretty good running back the Titans picked up in the draft, Tyjae Spears, and he was his coach. We'll talk to him. Headlines and more with the schedule getting released. A couple more things have been leaked out, and we have some clarification yesterday where we were wondering, like, how is all this going to go as far as Fox and CBS and getting AFC and NFC games? I know a little bit more about that now. We'll hit you up on that next.
What's going on from the Superbook.com sports desk? I'm Robert Walsh. It is schedule release day in the NFL. We will learn the entirety of the Titans schedule for 2023 later tonight. The NFL schedule release show airs at 7 on the NFL Network, but starting at 6 right here, you can listen with Red Bryan and good old Hunky. They'll be talking about the Titans schedule and how it impacts next year. Here's what we do know about the Titans schedule. They will face Baltimore Ravens in Week 6, October 15th at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London. Will also the NFL schedule will kick off with the Chiefs hosting the Lions on Thursday Night Football, September 7th. Aaron Rodgers will debut with the Jets on Monday Night Football at home against the Bills on September 11th. Tonight in the NBA, the 76ers try to close out the series against the Celtics at home in Game 6. That's at 6:30, and the Nuggets will try to do the same over the Suns at 9 o'clock. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone, hour 2 of Thursday. Schedule release day in the NFL. We're also trying to solve some problems here. Like, what do you want on your meatloaf? Do you want gravy or do you want ketchup? Also, we want to know, what do you think? How many primetime games are the Titans going to get? Because the Packers just got 6. Their whole schedule got leaked. 6.
Dang.
For Jordan Love. Jordan Love. So NFL, obviously somebody.
Their fan base, they know they are eyeballs. They must get a lot of. NFL does a lot of research.
Yep.
My wife used to be on the team of the research analyst team there, and they're in Manhattan, and they do a lot of research on fan bases and how many fans of each fan base watch games. That's why we always hear the ESPN, whatever, Get Up or whatever. They're always talking about the Cowboys because their fan base is always this. I get sick. I'm like, dang, they're talking about the Cowboys aren't even winning. It doesn't matter. Their people are listening and watching. So Green Bay must be off the charts for them to get 6 games. They didn't even make the playoffs, did they? Yeah. And then Aaron Rodgers is no longer there, so you can't say it's because they want to see him play. It's because it's Green Bay. It's the organization. And then for Detroit to be, if they have more, we have reached an all-time low as a Titan fan. If Detroit Lions have more televised games, I am just going to be, devastated. And it's a huge possibility because they're an up-and-coming team.
I think you need to prepare.
I mean, they look good.
I think you need to prepare yourself.
I know. That's when I'm like, we are not going in the right direction. The NFL is telling us. What is that? Yeah.
It's getting wild out in the hallway.
Yeah, I thought I was like, what is Bird playing football or soccer in there?
It wasn't me.
I know it wasn't. I guess you was there looking dead at me like, what you looking at, Blaine?
You need me to rough somebody up out there. Who do you guys think are the teams that aren't going to get the primetime games? Do you think Titans are one of the most unwatchable teams in the league, or do you think it's more like teams like the Commanders? Who do you guys think?
If I'm sitting in the building at Park Avenue, the NFL building, and I'm having to look at like a focus group or people in the office, and we're the 3 guys who talk to the scheduler guy, and we got to give him some feedback, and be like, hey man, it's going to be 11 people in the box on the other team against Derrick Henry. Have you guys seen the Titans wide receiver room? Do you think anybody wants to watch that? I'm being honest here. I mean, we watch it because we live here. If you were one, Blaine, you're a Titan.
I know it is not appealing to watch on offense. It is just not. It is like watching paint dry. Like, man, come on, don't hand it to him again. Man, everybody knows he just ran into a brick wall. So maybe they're going to change it up. They're going to surprise the people early this season, and they're going to be throwing it around the yard. Then they're going to come back and start hitting it to Henry. And then everybody goes, put them on TV. They're doing good.
I need to go back and find this picture on my phone.
They can't be past the Commanders. No way. The Commanders are going to get a game just because has it been approved yet? The new ownership, they got to give them at least 1 game.
Well, probably
new ownership, we'll throw you a bone.
But here's the Command Skins, though. They're going to play the Giants twice, who get on TV because they're the Giants.
East.
The Eagles twice, who's this team in the NFC probably, and the Cowboys, who are America's team.
They just going to, they're in the right division there, conference.
But if I can find this picture, I'll never find it now. But I got a picture on my phone of the Titans running like a 3rd and long play, and the three like eligible pass catchers on the field were Jeff Swain, Cody Hollister, and I don't know, Mason Kinsey.
That was like week 1 too, wasn't it?
No, this was later on because I just took a picture of it and said, "Do you guys notice anything about the personnel on this play?" But anyway, I mean that's what you're getting, and I know Derrick Henry's a fantastic NFL player, and we had the debate earlier because there's a guy who tweeted no running back is even cruising towards the Hall of Fame, and we think Derrick Henry could be if he continues his career on a similar arc or has a few more good seasons. But I don't think the Park Avenue NFL, and I keep saying that just because that's the league office, Park Avenue. I don't think anybody there thinks, so we could put a team on that throws the ball 46 times, or we could put a team on that would like to run it 46 times. In the year of our Lord, 2023, on Earth.
Yep. James Neeson says Titans only get the London game, and that's it.
He also says, brace yourself, Blaine, because the Lions, I think you mentioned the Lions get more. They're going to get more.
I know.
The Lions have gotten sexy. Man, sexy. Think about that.
When I see Campbell, you know who I think of? Robert.
That's my dude, too, man.
Like his attitude, it's like, man, who gives a crap? He's kind of this fun-loving, harsh, but yet, hey, man, he makes you play loose, and what do we have to lose? That's how I feel. And then he makes mistakes along the way in some of his decisions, but it doesn't matter. Everybody's still playing loose and believe they can win. And everybody making fun of their draft picks. Actually, like, they're old school. Middle linebacker looks
Running
like
back.
Like Jack Lambert back in the day. 6'4" linebacker that now all these guys can run 4.4, and then his guy runs like a 4.6. And watching what they do. Guess what he notify and put stamp on? These guys are football players. They'll figure it out. And I'm taking the best football players. You drafted a running back. Oh, man, you can get a running back. Not like that one. Not like that one. He said, I can't risk this. He went after the guy he liked. And watch what they do. And then they doing it with golf. Golf, man. Dang.
Looks like they might be doing it with Hooker. Like not this year, but in the future. In the future,
potentially, yes.
They sold me. Their coach did last year in Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks. He got me too.
I'm a sucker for a man that will cry. Anytime a man will come out there and get passionate and cry with you, because I'm the same way. I
told you.
I get worked up, man.
I can tell that's you.
You hit the nail on the head. I could drink coffee like that too if they let me. I'll bite somebody's kneecap. But you can tell he loves his players, and they gonna play their ass off for him.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I definitely became. I liked him before, but because he just seemed kind of goofy, but yet, hardcore, all mixed in one. And I thought, man, he's insane. And then when it started Hard Knocks, I was like, oh yeah, I love this guy. Yeah, I love this guy here.
He's like nice Mike Vrabel. He's like if Mike Vrabel didn't seem so mean. Like, you know what I mean? Like maybe Dan Campbell won't like beat you up for asking a bad question. He might just be like, hey, get this Yahoo out of here, man. But Mike Vrabel seems like he'd choke the life out of somebody for
right.
not picking up the dog
scared.
poop out of the yard.
Yeah, Dan Campbell would be like, man, are you freaking kidding me? Seriously? Today?
What was the thing about?
Oh, man, come on. You got to do better than that.
What was the thing about Campbell that he drank like 2 60-ounce espressos a day, or like enough to kill a horse?
Oh, I wouldn't be shocked, man.
Robert was kind of nodding.
What do you say, like a journeyman tight end?
He drinks 40 ounces of coffee a day with 4 espresso shots.
As a non-coffee guy, like, what does that mean?
I mean, like, you got to think in terms of like ounces. If you're going to buy like what would a big 2-liter be? How many ounces is that? Somebody do math that's better than me.
I can do liquid math on demand,
That's
Robert.
the whole reason I took communications was because they only made you take one math.
Do you even know me? Liquid math on demand? What are we even doing?
Okay,
what in my recent history suggests I would know that?
1 ounce times 40 of liquid. That's what he's drinking. Plus 4 espressos. That just seems like a lot to me.
I'm asking you about the espresso shots because I don't know.
Oh, it's just like a little shot. It's just enough to get you going.
Like concentrated, super concentrated.
But a regular person would be shaking and sweating a little bit after 1. So this guy takes 4.
Yeah, I'll drink 2 coffees before I come in here, but those espresso shots there, they are pretty potent. I was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I did it one time. I didn't
What
want to tell
about
you.
4 a day?
There's no way. No way. No way. There was some guys when I was playing, though, that would do something crazy like that.
They drink it before a game, like have an espresso shot. Okay.
No.
My friend.
Back then, I didn't drink any coffee. I was like, ew, no.
I had a friend who was allergic to chocolate, and he played college football, and it just kind of like enraged him. So he would eat half a Snickers bar before the first half of the game, and it would like turn him into the Hulk. And it would
Before
make him,
game?
yes, he was allergic to chocolate, and it made him like cuckoo. So he'd eat half of a Snickers bar immediately before kickoff, and then play, and that would wear off. Then he'd eat the other half before they came out for the second half.
Man. Yeah. I'm gonna just leave names out and tell you a story that I did not know. Some people have to take medicine to keep them right. I guess that's the best way I could say it.
Okay.
And on game day,
Need some of that.
they don't take it.
Oh.
And then I wonder why they walked over to me and acted like I was the opponent. And I said, "Hey, man, you need to go the other way. What's wrong with you? This is a teammate. Like, I know him. Hey, man." It got to the point where I said, "Hey, man, you're scaring me." Just imagine you get on game day, you tell your teammate, "You're scaring me." Go over. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm about to go. I just would leave. And so I go ask one of our teammates who is part of his position group, "Hey, man, you need to go get such and such because he's scaring me." He came over and acted like he was going to whip my you-know-what for nothing. I was like, dude, I'm sitting over here and listen to my music. I was about to take a nap. He said, he starts busting out laughing. He said, he didn't take his medicine today. I said, "What medicine?" No, you don't even worry about that, Blaine. He didn't take it either. I said, "Oh, okay. Just make sure he stays away from me, though." Yeah. I'm going to give y'all some hints. He is no longer with us. And I was like, oh, my gosh. What the? We need to know this information in the locker room. Mm-hmm. They were like, "No, that's private information." I went in there to talk to the trainers. I was up there scared. I was like, "Hey, I think I got to go to the bathroom now." I was scared for real. I'm not even going to repeat some of the stuff he was saying. I was like, "Hey, man, you got me, what?" I was like, "What is this dude doing?" "I'm about to beat you." What? "Man, you better get away from me, man. I don't know what's wrong with you." Dude, I was scared for real. This is no lie. That's why I said people have no idea what we go. I was like, "Oh my God, I didn't know he took medicine."
Just not on game day.
Not on game day.
Willie Fritz knows about game day. He's been a college coach for 30 years. He was Tyjae Spears' head coach at Tulane. He will join us next to discuss the new Titans running back. We'll ask about his knee and everything else. Let's make 2023 your year. Let's do it. Let's make 2023 your year when it comes to getting your hair back. Men, women, if you're dealing with hair loss and you just feel like you got no answers, or maybe like you know somebody who had a terrible experience. You know, your uncle got some weird procedure back in the 90s and you think, I ain't doing that. Well, guess what? It's not that. At We Grow Hair, PAI, as you've known them for years, they have the most cutting edge and best technology. And there's different things that they do for different people. Maybe you just started losing your hair. Maybe you lost it all a long time ago. Maybe you're somewhere in between. There's a game plan for everybody at We Grow Hair. And you can call and you can go and basically do a free consultation. And what that is like a coaching session, right? You watch film and then they say, here's the way we're going to win this game when it comes to your hair. They can't do it unless you call, though, 615-376-6010. So if you're tired of dealing with hair loss, do something about it. Permanent natural results from the company you can trust, PAI Medical Group, WeGrowHair.com. Call them today. Tell them I sent you, 615-376-6010. Blaine and Mickey, 1045 The Zone. Thanks for hanging out with us on this Thursday. NFL schedule comes out tonight. We'll find out. We already know who the Titans are playing, but we'll find out when they are playing them. And we'll be watching the new rookie class, including the running back Tyjae Spears. Obviously, anytime you get new guys on a team, you want to know more about them. So why not just go straight to the source? The Tulane head coach, Willie Fritz, joins us now. Coach Fritz, we know it's a busy time of year, man. Thanks for jumping on with us.
Well, thank you for having little Al Green on there to segue into me talking to you. All right.
Hey,
You hear much Al Green anymore.
well, you can always hear it here. Before we ask you anything about Tyjae Spears or anything, I have like a man-to-man question to ask you. So when kids come to see you and your school on a recruiting visit, what in the world is it like to be able to, and I'm holding up quotes, recruit people to live in New Orleans for 4 or 5 years?
Right.
Well, we've been really fortunate. We've had a lot of New Orleans guys who have gone away. They thought the grass was a little greener going someplace else, and they find out it's just green, and they come back home to New Orleans, and we've had a lot of luck with guys who've gone on to some programs outside the state. I just spoke this morning to the Convention Bureau and tourism and all those kind of things. And it's just a really neat city. Our guys really enjoy, going to school here. Tyjae is from a town about 30, 40 minutes from New Orleans called Ponchatoula. And a small town. And you guys are going to love him up there, man. He is just a great young man. One of my favorites. Just always got a smile on his face. Just excited to do whatever he could to help us win. You have what you call list guys. We keep track of everything. Breakfast check, lunch check, class check, study hall, tutoring. I don't know if he was on the list. It was maybe a few years back. He just did everything right and got his degree. He's a good student. I graduated with about a 3.3 GPA here from Tulane. So I think he's going to be a home run for y'all. I just am so excited for him.
Talking to head coach Willie Fritz of Tulane football at Coach W.E. Fritz on Twitter. You can follow him there.
Well, Coach, I mean, we're foodies here in Nashville, naturally, and I'm sure New Orleans you are too. But where are some of the places, or even if you don't want to name places, I guess type of foods that you like taking some of the recruits when you come there? And like they get hooked, because when I went to New Orleans first time, I had etouffee. I'm like, oh man, this is good. Oh yeah, then the sweet, what do they call them? The
beignets.
Beignets. Oh man, I was like, oh, this is awesome. Then I saw they had drive-through your liquor stores, and I said, oh, this is awesome too.
Daiquiris.
Yeah, truly a wonderful place.
So where do you like taking them, or what kind of food do you like eating? One of the two.
I'll tell you what we do on our visit. It's really, I think, one of the most unique visits in Division I football. We actually do a second line with the prospects, their families, the hosts, our coaches, their families, and we go about 12 blocks. Have you guys ever heard of what a second line is? Yeah. You have a little brass band. You have 5 or 6 piece brass band, and they do it for anything here in New Orleans, but weddings and celebrations. And we'll start with about 100 people. And by the time we go 12 blocks, we'll have 500 people, backing behind us, dancing and having a good old time. And it gets, I think it gets people from out of state just to feel comfortable in New Orleans, because it's a really, this city will embrace you. And I didn't know much about it before I came here and became a head coach, but after being here, 2 or 3 years, we just fell in love with the city. So it's a unique visit. Eating, I go all over the place. We've got so many great restaurants here that I get in the habit of going to the same place because I like it, and I need to. Each time you go someplace, it's not going to do you wrong, but all types of different food, and we really fill them up on that when they come on their visits.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We're on with the head coach of Tulane, Willie Fritz. I guess to get into Tyjae Spears, got to make sure I don't say someone else's last name. Tyjae Spears, kind of take us through when y'all recruited him. Was he a point of emphasis, or you said he was kind of somewhat local there, 30 or 40 minutes away. But were you sure you were going to get him? And what was that experience like when you got him? And then, how did he stay the same, or he mature, get bigger, stronger, faster? Or did he have ACLs then?
He had an issue when he was in.
Just kidding.
I got your joke. But he'd gotten hurt as a junior in high school.
Oh, okay.
They kind of got into a more of a passing attack. Their quarterback went to LSU, and I'm not sure where he's at now. He's at Auburn, and his high school coach is kind of one of the deans of high school coaching here in the area, kind of Hank Tierney. Played some receiver, played some back, was about 170 pounds coming out of high school. I think he went to the combine. He was 204. Great speed, ran 10,600 meters in high school. And at the very end, another school came after him, and I talked to his dad. I just said, "Hey, have you go to all your son's games?" He said, "Yeah, I do." And I said, "Well, this school you're talking about going to, you're going to have to drive to the airport, leave a car there, fly there, rent another car, drive 2 hours, watch a game, get 2 nights of hotel rooms, get all the meals, blah, blah, blah." And he said, "Coach, we're not visiting. We're coming to Tulane." So, it was a hometown feel for him. And at ball games and home games, he might have 20, 30 people at the games, and very popular guy in Ponchatoula. He had a big signing, or when he got drafted, a big party, and the place was packed. Unfortunately, I was out of town at the time, but very, very popular in his hometown, very popular here at Tulane as well.
Man, what would you say, Coach? We're on with head football coach Willie Fritz of Tulane. You are, I think, 197 when I looked it up to 114 losses. So you've had a lot of success. What would you say is the key to your success at Tulane?
Well, I think it took us a little while to understand how to recruit it. You need to make sure that you're finding guys that, academics a priority, a guy who can handle living in the city of New Orleans, and all the great things that it has to offer. We've done a good job of developing guys. Tyjae did not have a ton of offers coming out of high school. The other kid that we had that got drafted by the Buffalo Bills, Dorian Williams, I think we were his only Division I offer. I think we got 10 guys in NFL camps this year, and the majority of those guys did not have, offers, at the Division I level. So we got to develop those guys. We talk about recruit guys, bona fide Division I student athletes with character. And then I think we've got a great culture. We've lost very few guys to the portal, and I think that's because of our culture. And then we got to develop them, as football players and as men, and then also as students. And the kids see that, and I think that's attracted to the kind of kid that we want to have here at Tulane.
There you have it, head coach, football coach of Tulane, Willie Fritz.
So, Coach, there is a lot of talk about his knee and the physical issues that Tyjae has had, and I'll tell you this, we're on same time every day, and we sat here every day and watched Senior Bowl practices, and we knew about him because, my gosh, he finished the season. He had such a great season, so we knew about Tyjae, and we just marveled at what he was able to do and how just fantastic he looked against all these other guys who were headed to the league with him. How has he been able to be so successful while kind of keeping himself healthy, knowing what he's dealing with his knee and his cartilage and all that stuff? Is he spending extra time with maintenance or extra time in the weight room? Like, how in the world do you keep going like he has, knowing what he's up against?
Well, when he had his injury against Southern Miss a couple years back, he did an unbelievable job with rehabilitation. Our training staff, our doctors, I thought, did a great job with him. Our strength coaches did a great job with him. And then we were very mindful of that while we were working him out in the weight room in the off season, and then also when we got into the season. But about week 3 this year, I just said, "Hey, let's go," and he just did everything that everybody else did for the last, 13, 14 weeks, and had 0 issues and no problems. That's why it was such a surprise to me as well when I heard all this stuff. But I don't think, Titan fans, you have nothing to worry about. He's going to come out and play his tail off. He's he's just a dynamic football player. If you watch our last 4 or 5 games, I mean, that guy was on fire. And you know, he's not the biggest guy in the world. I think he's 204 at the combine. But man, you're not going to arm tackle him. I mean, he's physical. He runs through, you know, arm tackles. He's got great instincts, both interior and then outside the tackle box. You know, some guys are good inside and they're not very good outside, or vice versa. He does a great job with both of them. He had 20-some catches for us this past season, but he's got great hands. I think he's going to be you know, I know you guys got a fantastic back there. I think he can be a fantastic change of pace and third down guy. And the other thing he'll do is that a lot of backs, it's another unique talent is he'll get in the middle of a guy when he's blitzing. You know, he'll block you. And sometimes, you get pretty boy running backs, and they don't like that part of it. You know, Tyjae's going to get right in the middle of a guy and block him as well. So I got great confidence he's going to have success in the NFL just like he had it here at Tulane.
Coach Willie Fritz, our guest here on Blaine and Mickey, at Coach W.E. Fritz, Tulane head football coach.
Well, Coach, we all want to know, if you're trying to get someone to go to Tulane, what do you tell them besides all the great, lovely food? You get some guys from Nashville, man.
That's right. We tell them you get an opportunity to get a world-class education. You get to play big-time Division I football, and you get to do it in the iconic city of New Orleans. And, you know, that's a win-win-win. And, you know, we find the right guys, I really think, to come in here and play for us. I've been doing this a long time. And, you know, I like having guys I enjoy being around every single day. And right now my coaches are out spring recruiting, and I always tell them, try to find guys that have had a really good 18 years, and we'll do a good job of polishing and shining them up when they come here to Tulane. You know, if they've had a bad 18 years, it's sometimes difficult to overcome. And we've just been very fortunate. We got great young men in the program, and Tyjae is certainly indicative of the kind of kid we're trying to bring here to our program.
Head football coach of Tulane, Willie Fritz.
I wanted to ask you about this because as one of your past stops with Central Missouri, the Mules.
Delaney Walker.
You had a guy there that we all know and love in Delaney. What in the world was it like? Because I went back and looked like he returned kickoffs. Did he mix the Gatorade, drive the bus? What was it like having Delaney
you were there
Walker?
With him?
Yeah.
Yeah, Delaney was, you know, he
was a
went
wide
to
receiver, wasn't
JC. He was, we played him at wide receiver. Exactly right. I screwed up.
Oh, I didn't even hear you. I just
took
said,
the NFL to be smarter, but yeah, he played wide receiver for us. He's a big wide out, great speed. He's a great kick returner for us as well. Played JUCO ball out in California, and we got him his last 2 years, and had a phenomenal career at Central Missouri. He's in their Hall of Fame, and you know, it's been fun to watch him. With the 49ers, and then going over there to the Titans, and, you know, finishing his career up great. And, you know, and then I'm proud for, you know, the things he's done off the field. I've heard some great things that he's done also in the community as well. So, yeah, he was a fun guy to coach.
That has to be something, though, because he's kind of talked about coming from there, and, you know, maybe not everybody was an NFL caliber type guy, because no team has that, but to see a guy with his obvious physical abilities, which are unbelievable, that had to just literally, like on a Saturday, just turn him loose. That had to have been fun to watch.
Well, it was. You know, at times I might not have had the cue to get the ball to him as much as we wanted to, but you know, he just, you know, he was a man amongst boys, you know, and playing at that level. But that league that we were in there is kind of like the SEC of Division II football. I mean, it's a really good league, and there's a few kids that have the opportunity to go out on and play each year, it seems like, from that league. So he was special. There's no doubt about it. And you know, it was interesting. We tinkered around with a little bit of the H stuff with him while he was there, and but he was just such a mismatch on the perimeter that we kept him out there, and wish I would have been smart enough to get him in there and do some of that stuff with him, but we didn't. But hindsight's 20/20, right?
Always 20/20.
Well, Coach, before we let you go, I guess tell us about a player that got an opportunity in the league that you coached, and it can be wherever you coached, that he excelled more than you ever thought. You thought he was going to be a good player, but then he turned into something you're like, wow, man, he is taking it to the next level. Anybody come to mind?
I'll tell you what, probably Darnell Mooney. Darnell's playing with
Oh,
Chicago
yeah,
Bears.
Mooney, yeah.
He had
Definitely know him.
63 catches,
Mm-hmm.
and we were a little more of a run-based team. Again, it's, the wide receiver coach at the Bears did a phenomenal job of recruiting Darnell. I mean, they kept coming to practice over and over. And after about the fifth time a Bears guy was here, I was like, I wonder who they're looking at. And they're one of the few NFL teams that their scouts and player personnel people keep their mouth shut about who they're looking at. Everybody else kind of shares information. Those guys didn't. And we just weren't, we weren't able to get the ball to him as much as we needed to. But God, he's a great player. He's one of the top wide receivers in school history, yardage, and all those kind of different things. But now he's, I get out there and I watch him, and he's just dominating in the NFL. I saw one game where there was a great corner, and he turned that guy around, and the Ramsey guy on a slant and go route. So he would be a guy. I've had a bunch. I think I've had over 100 guys maybe playing the NFL, but Darnell just, a guy recently just has really taken off, and I think he's got a chance to. Got hurt last year, I think, with 4 ball games to go, but he's got a chance to be a star in the NFL for a long time.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I agree with you on that. Got to be a part of training him for the combine. Actually, he was on the other end, so our DBs came down and competed against him. He was the best route runner, and he was also the fastest. And I said, this is going to equate to some success in the NFL.
And
he was the best.
Very, very humble guy, too.
Yeah,
Goes to
hard
work.
worker, too, man.
Oh, man, he's tough guy. And I'll tell you something neat about him. He didn't have much coming here to school, and this is before the world of NIL.
Mm-hmm.
But with his per diem, his cost of attendance money, his Pell Grant money, stipend that he'd get each month. When he graduated 3.5 years before he got drafted by the Bears, he had $52,000 in the bank. So he saved his money. He ate every free meal he could. He just was always, had that focus about what he wanted to accomplish and what he wanted to do. And I have him talk to our players about that all the time, that, about saving money, investing money, and just a really neat young man.
No doubt about it.
Hey, on the way out, just one more observation. You guys' green and light blue uniforms are the coolest uniforms. Coach, I cannot tell you how much and the wave on the helmet. Those are the most fantastic uniforms, and please don't ever change those. I love them.
Especially when it's in black.
Our equipment guy, our AD brought back the angry wave, what we have on our helmet, and he says that's the only thing that no one's ever complained about. Usually he hears everybody complaining about this, that, and the other thing. And then our equipment guys, they kind of put everything together each week, and they used to come up and ask me, and I'm kind of old school. I just said, hey, man, I just want everybody to look the same. That's all I'm worried about. Make sure they look the same. And all the credit goes to our equipment guys and how they put everything together.
They are fantastic. Coach, listen, we know your voice is in mid-season form already, so we'll let you save the rest of it for your recruit.
I tried it a long time ago.
That's all right. Hey, listen, thanks for the time.
Great job.
Thanks for the time today. When
Thank you guys.
You come up to see Tyjae and come hang out with us. We'd love to hang out with you.
I'd love to. He's a great, what you see is what you get with him, and I'm so happy and proud of him. And you guys have fun up there. Roll wave.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Coach Willie Fritz, great catching up with him. Long time college coach, like Blaine said, 3 wins away from 200 in his career. All right, we'll come back. Couple of interesting notes that I found about the Titans that I'm looking for tonight with the schedule release to see if these things change. I'll ask you guys about them next.
May brings us the reminder that hot and humid days are just about here for the long run. So allow Cool Ray to keep you from breaking a sweat. They'll quite literally do that with a $69 AC tune-up. And Cool Ray's trusted certified technicians will have your air conditioning system tuned up and cleaned up as we enter what's sure to be a sizzling summer season. And maybe you know this is the year your AC needs to finally get replaced. Well, Cool Ray has brand new Tempstar home comfort systems on hand and ready for same day or next day installation. Plus, they boost the industry-leading warranties that'll give you peace of mind for many more hot days to come. And don't forget, Cool Ray isn't just there for your HVAC needs. Say hello to Cool Ray's electrical department. Along with whole home generators and surge protection to protect your home from storms, they are skilled at AV upgrades so that they can enjoy your home theater area when things are messy outside. So schedule your next visit online at coolray.com. No phone call, no wait, no worries. You pick the date and time that works for you. That's coolray.com.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. NFL schedule release tonight. We ask on Twitter, how many primetime games do you think the Titans will get? You guys want to know what's leading the way right now?
Probably what I voted for.
What'd you vote for?
Well, I voted what I think is going to happen. One.
One is running away with it. 66%, 29% for 2, 5% for 3, 4 or more has
so
zero votes.
I'm sorry. My one, I really meant 2 because I'm not counting the London game.
Okay.
We already know the London. I think they're going to get another one. So I think they're going to get 2 in total. But London, in my mind, wasn't really registering as one because we already know that one.
Like prime time, 7 o'clock at night. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sunday night football, Monday night football, Thursday night football. Yeah. Or I guess Thanksgiving counts as a, whatever they call it, island game. I saw as one thing to describe it. One is blowing everything away so far. So I got to thinking about this. The last 2 years, the Titans have finished playing the Colts by week 8. Week 7 one year and week 8 the next.
The last 2 years, yeah.
Wonder if they'll space that out any.
Oh, I hope so. I don't like it now. For the Titans' sake, I'd rather play them early and get it out the way because whoever's their quarterback may not be ready to rock and roll and go through his lumps, Richardson. So, yeah, they can get out of the first 8 weeks. I'm good. But just preferably, I'd like to see it spread out, not that close like that, especially when they were predicted it was them or the Titans going to win the division. So why would you play that so early? He's had one at the beginning and one at the end.
True.
Or in the middle of the end. Yeah.
The other thing that's interesting to me, the last 4 years, the Titans have finished on the road. They finished on the road at Jacksonville last year. The 3 seasons before that, they played their final game at Houston. 3 years in a row at Houston to end the season, and last year to end the season in Jacksonville. And that one wound up being a primetime game because it was a playoff game. Surely they end with a home game this year. Surely. Not 5 years in a row of ending your season with a road game.
That's kind of weird. I had 4 years in a row.
4 years in a row.
Yeah.
You got to go back 5 years. They finished here against Indy, which maybe that's what happens this year.
Well, as long as they're ending on a bang. Just imagine if they would have played the Jags at home last year instead of in Jacksonville. That would have been great. Switch that up.
Maybe that would have been a difference in old
Right
Dobbs
on.
and the team winning.
Oh.
If Dobbs had won that game and they went to the playoffs, you think Dobbs would still be here? If they won the game, they didn't. If they won the game at that point, like, do you go to him in the tunnel and go, "Hey, man, we can go off"?
Well, they would have went to the playoffs, and then he would have started a playoff game.
Yeah, he would have started
the
playoffs.
I still thought they should have brought him back. But they knew better because they knew they were going to draft a quarterback.
Yeah.
They knew they were going to draft a
We ain't
quarterback.
going to have room for him. Probably going to cut. They could very well wind up cutting their 3rd-round pick from last year.
Yeah, which is what wasn't their pick, or at least Rand's pick.
Yeah, not half of their pick of Varthon.
You can't say it like that. You got to say it with a little more chutzpah than that.
he's like
I like it when you
Varthon.
make it a robot, like Varthon.
Yes,
you
well,
got to say it like that.
like a space villain.
There you go.
It was a sad Varthon.
That was very sad. Sad Varthon.
Varthon.
It was fun having
Varthon.
Dobbs around, man.
Oh, I thought they should have re-signed and be the backup, but hey, they had other plans.
Will Levis. Here's the other thing I'm looking for, and I heard Knucklehead Lucas, who's gave way to Burt today. He said this, and I'm looking forward to this too. I just want to know, when do they play Houston? Here, because they're going to wear those Oiler uniforms, and I'm going to lose my mind. I'm just telling you. You know me and
You
my
gonna go
little
ape crap?
I ate poo. I'm going to be Varthon that day. I'm going to be wired when they take the field. And they're going to do it against Houston. Oh, man. The hit man will be the lit man. I'll be right here with you, hyping it up. You should do the game in one of your Oilers jerseys. You should do pregame in an Oilers jersey that day.
Oh, that'd be lit, huh?
I'm pre-lit for it. But right now, the music's about to run out. So I got to turn off my litness, and we got to go because it's time for 3HL.
But in the meantime,
In between time, peace.